Hey guys, it's Rob here, and today we're going to be discussing my time at Pineville's Grand Reopening. Pineville is what originally got me into this fandom, first seeing a video from Burger which briefly mentioned the location in it. I then became determined to go down there, which I did get to do in less than a month later, and it was really cool getting to see them in person. Fast forward to now, and the location stage was saved, so I knew I had to get down to the Grand Reopening, which I did get to do as well. Not only that though, but I got to go with a good friend of mine, which you guys may recognize. Anyways, let's go over my time at Pineville's grand reopening. The day before the grand reopening was set to happen, a good friend of mine came over to stay for a couple days just for this grand reopening, that being no other than Beach Kai. He was the first person to properly see the animatronic corner of mine in person as well. Why don't you tell them about that evening, Kai?
Hey everyone, Beach Kai here. I had driven for several hours before arriving to Itzerob's, so I was definitely a bit exhausted by the time I arrived. But once I did, I got settled in, and together we both talked a lot about and enjoyed an evening discussing animatronics and other interests to prepare for the day ahead of us tomorrow. It was a bit of a last minute trip, but I figured since this stage, like Itzerob, held some significance to me in that it was the second and only other 3 stage I'd gotten the chance to see, on top of wanting to see the new changes such as the inclusion of Pizza Cam on the stage, that I'd figured I'd go ahead and make the drive up and have a small weekend adventure.
It had to stop eventually though, so after that, we went to bed. I woke up a little earlier than usual that morning and got up for the day. I decided to do a requested performance on Beach Bear since I wanted to make sure Kai got to see him perform during his trip down here. What I'm showing you now is just a small clip I took, but if you want to see the full thing, you can go check out Beach Kai's video on it here. After that, we got ready for the day and headed out. The thing is, we didn't just want to go to Pineville's grand reopening that day. It was a 3-hour trip down there from my place to Pineville, so I knew we could fit in other things in the meantime. I ended up deciding to go to a couple of other Chuck E. Cheese locations on our way. The first one we stopped by was the Asheville location, which is my local Chuck E. Cheese, despite being over an hour away from me. It looked nice as per usual, with all of its 90s decor as well as their trampoline zone, which hadn't been installed that long ago. Their truck was still on random movements, and aside from minor game changes, the location was the same as when I'd gone a month prior.
I was excited to see this store since I had very vivid memories of growing up with a Phase 3 store in my childhood. Getting to see the cool Chuck logo and the red to yellow awnings on the exterior was really unique, and the store interior was quite a treat to see as well, considering what was inside decor wise. This was also my first time seeing a Studio C bot in almost a decade, since the last time I'd seen one was when I was still a kid.
Next, we went to a location I'd never gone to before, that being Spartanburg in South Carolina. This was a location that was pretty standard, being mostly the 2003 remodel with a 2013 update logo. This wasn't the reason I came though. I came because of the stage they had, that being the Studio C Alpha. This was both Kai and I's first time seeing a Studio C Alpha, and I'd never seen a 32 movement bot before either. It was honestly really cool seeing the stage in person, and even though most of the showroom walls were gone, with only this small remnant remaining, you could still imagine what it looked like back in the day. The extra props on the Alpha stage really did add to it, and I could definitely say that after seeing the stage in real life, I appreciate it more than when I originally did. What'd you think, Kai?
It was quite a privilege to get to see this store for the first time together with Itzerob. While I do remember the Studio C growing up, I've never seen a Studio C Alpha before or a 32M bot, and it was quite an upgrade from the 16M bot that we had seen just hours prior, so I was definitely excited to check this out. The stage setup itself was very cool, and we made sure to take it all in since the setup surely was on borrowed time. It's always so cool to see these different stages in person, and this was no exception.
After that, we headed to Pineville's grand reopening. While we did end up getting there a little late, I was still able to get a poster and pin, which both honestly look really nice. I was worried that Pineville's pin would be almost the same as Northridge's, just with Pineville's name and opening day instead. Luckily, it was more distinct, and I can definitely say I prefer it over Northridge's. Unfortunately, neither one of us was able to pick up the shirts, which I didn't even know were going to be given out at the event until after I was there. Apparently, there was only a small amount of them being given out anyways, and that they were gone before the grand reopening even started. But still, the shirt design was also cool, even if it was just Pineville's pin design slapped onto a shirt. The grand reopening hadn't really started yet by the time we got there, though it was packed. What I found interesting about this and the rest of the other grand reopenings compared to Northridge's is how no one had to wait in a line in order to get into the store. You were just able to go into the store as per usual, and given the complimentary items. I don't know if there was a line at Northridge because of how small the store was, but it's definitely an interesting difference between the two. We also found out that Mark Kupferman, one of the people who worked at corporate, and I believe the district manager were there, signing the posters, so I took the opportunity and got both of those signatures.
From the outside, it seemed like the same Pineville that I had seen just a few months prior, but on the inside, it was clear that there was a party afoot, and the festivities were just getting started when we arrived. Fans of all ages were gathered around the stage and in the retro zone waiting for the show to start. The retro zone, speaking of, was super cool, and I'm actually shocked at how much effort was put into it. There was obviously a lot of time, research, and care that was put into this display, and the more I looked, the more I saw unique items from Chuck E. Cheese past and present. It was so cool to see just how many people were brought together by this one store and stage, and it further proves just how distinct and meaningful these characters are to the community and to the fans as a whole. As Rob mentioned, the complimentary pin and poster were an added bonus and a way to remember this special event that brought a smile to so many faces that night.
The event properly started once the Chuck Walk Around came out, and they did the Chucky Strut live show. It was interesting seeing a bunch of people all over the dance floor, since usually only the little kids will dance on it. This was the grand reopening though, so a lot of people participated. After that, one of the employees gave a speech about Pineville being one of the 5 legacy stores, and purple balloons were dropped from the bag above onto the dance floor. After that, things calmed down a bit as we waited for the next thing to happen. We moved up to the front in preparation of the animatronics, and cake slices were also served. At 6:10, the performances began. They started with Together We Got It, and then did Chucky's Place, and then Every Boy, Every Girl. All the 2017 versions, of course, followed by It's the 70s. I live streamed this segment on Instagram, which nearly caused my phone to die, but I was able to record one last song before pretty much having to stop using my phone, as it was nearly dead. You can go check that out here if you'd like. For over an hour, I watched the entire show tape prepared for the night, including multiple songs that I had never seen in person, which was cool to see. How did it feel seeing that whole show that night, Kai?
As I mentioned prior, it was really fun to see everybody enjoying the stage. It was clear that this was a very special event, and I give major props to Chuck E. Cheese corporate for putting it together. Getting to see songs performed such as Together We've Got It, Every Boy, Every Girl, It's the 70s, and some of my personal favorites as well, including The Tale of Jasper T, was truly spectacular, and the stage looked great. And getting to see Pizza Can perform was definitely cool too, since I'd never gotten the opportunity to see one before. Overall, the night was quite memorable, and I was super pumped the entire time. It's something that I'll cherish for the foreseeable future, and I'm so happy that 3 Stage will get to live on as long as the store remains open.
Towards the end, we decided to get some pizza while we were there, since it would be late by the time we got back home. After that, we headed home and went to bed soon after. Kai couldn't stay around forever, and since he had a long drive ahead of him, that morning mostly consisted of breakfast and airing up Duke for a few performances requested by Kai. If you'd like to see those performances, you can watch them here. Anyways, afterwards, we said our goodbyes and he left. Overall, the entire day of Pineville's grand reopening was awesome, not just the grand reopening itself. I got to visit my local again to see how it was doing, visit a location I'd never visited before to see my first Studio C Alpha, got to go to a grand reopening, which was a fun time, and get to do it all with Beach Kai, one of my good friends and my closest one in this fandom. It was such a blast to finally see him in person and get to learn even more about each other, and I think that him coming here was the highlight of it all, so thanks for coming along with me, man. Oh, and what were your thoughts on this whole trip, Kai?
Overall, the trip was definitely a fun adventure, and I'm truly blessed and thankful for Itzarob's companionship for allowing me to stay with and join him on this exhibition. Had it not been for him, I'd likely only be tuning in from behind a screen, but getting the chance to partake in this event was something I'm forever grateful for. There was a lot of fun moments had, and it was definitely something that I couldn't have done if not for our friendship. Thanks for having me along on the trip, Itzarob. Here's to another collab in the future, maybe. Who knows?
Thank you guys for watching this video. It was awesome getting to talk about my time at Pineville's grand reopening and the whole trip that day, but also getting to collab with Beach Kai as well was fun. My next video is going to be covering Springfield, Illinois, which is not only the last CU1 stage, but also now one of 5 legacy stores that corporate has decided to keep. If you'd like to see that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you're notified when it drops. God bless, and I hope you all have a blessed day.